talk. I love my life. 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 None of we don't know where tomorrow might bring, cause the future the hours away. So me I live my life today. Me I live my life today. Yeah, so long me make me talk what I want for talk. Me have enough to say. So me I go live my life today. Me I go live my life today. So everybody else just sing it out. Me love my life. Me love my life. Me love my life. So me I live my life today. Me love my life. Me love my life. Me love my life. So me I live my life today.
So my project this morning was cleaning our sump box. This boat is designed to have as little through holes as possible. So instead of the sink having a through hole like Ventana did, this one goes to a sump box, which then pumps out of the boat from there. It has a float switch in it, and it works pretty well. Sometimes the float switch gets a little funky. Basically, it needs to be cleaned about once a week. Otherwise, it gets kind of nasty and stops working properly. I don't know if I've showed you guys this before, but this is the sump box. I've cleaned it all out now. So the drain from the sink comes in right here. There's also a drain from the refrigerator in case anything nasty comes out of the refrigerator. There's an overflow valve here that goes into the bilge in case this gets full and the float switch doesn't work properly, which happens fairly often, honestly. I would not say this is my ideal setup, but it was a great replacement for what was broken and messed up and old here to begin with, but had a slightly different setup that maybe was better. Anyway, this is a float switch, goes down with the water, comes up, engages the pump, pumps all the water and stuff out, and this works as like a filter so no large food particles get into there. So I just cleaned that all out, and while I was at it, I decided to just hose out the bilge and bleach some stuff. So that is our bilge down there. It's not the cleanest, but I've definitely seen worse. I can see all the way to the bottom. There is a bit of water in there that normally I would suck out with a shop vac, but our shop vac died, so that's not happening. So that little bit of water is just gonna stay in there for now. I'm really not concerned about it. Nestor got up this morning and did a bunch of cleaning. We had a seacock that was a bit corroded and needed a little love, so he checked that out and cleaned that all up. And I think he just generally, like, yeah, this was like a bit corroded, and so he cleaned that all up, and the whole sea strainer got cleaned and everything. And I think he just generally oiled the whole engine and whatever needed to get cleaned up in there, so everything looks super nice and clean. We're kind of obsessive compulsive. I don't know if you've noticed, but we like to keep things really, really clean. So anyway, that's all clean. Nestor just went to meet up with some friends to go kiting on the reef out here at Dackety. So I'm gonna see if I can get some shots of them kiting by from outside the boat and enjoy a little bit of sunshine. And I'll share that with you guys. So let's go see. I'm sure the audio's gonna be crap, but look at this day. It's so beautiful. Nestor's out there kiting. Woo! Life is so good. Oh, just great shots right here off the boat. I mean, there's Nestor kiting. There's our mooring. was just making a little late lunch, early dinner for when the boys get done kiting. So I'm making codfish salad or ensalada de bacalao. So salted codfish, egg, tomato, corn, onion. And I'm gonna boil up some root vegetables. Got some cut up in there already. Batata, malanga, and papa. Yeah, that'll be a super yummy meal for when the boys get done kiting. I think in the long run, a $200 and something membrane lasting for 5 years is really not that bad. So Nestor is down there trying to figure out how to get the membrane out. This tube on the bottom is our membrane. This is the cork pump. So a little precursor to all of this is the last time that we had to replace the membrane, we had it mounted on Ventana and it was vertically mounted. So both the membrane and the cork pump were running up and down, whereas right now we have it horizontal, side to side. And who knows how long that membrane had been in there for, but when we went to take the end cap off of the membrane housing, it would not come off, and we ended up having to buy a whole new housing and the end caps and everything, and it cost us hundreds of dollars. Our friend John was helping us with it and he felt so bad, and it really was not his fault at all. When you put those end caps on, you really have to use the good food grade silicone that's approved for these water makers, and make sure that there isn't any corrosion in there, because sometimes you put them on and you don't take them off again for 5 years. So when we installed it, we put a lot of silicone, obviously, so we're hoping that today we don't have that problem.
How are you gonna help?
I just went to help Nestor. This was open and I put my leg right here, and as I went like that, this closed down and the corner of this thing just ripped my leg open. I am bleeding, and this is like, I don't know, a 6-inch cut now on my leg.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
We could take the whole seat off if we need to. And we begin to take apart the boat. There's definitely no such thing as a small project on a boat. It never happens. You're never that lucky. This settee has a really cool design to it, where this part that's here and clearly needs to be cleaned, this is still like remnants of when she was full of mud washed ashore, goes on top of here, and it has some screws that go here, so it's able to slide out and become a bigger berth if someone wants to sleep in it. So that's very cool. But right now we've taken that whole part apart and the slides that hold it down, and now we're taking this back wall off, and we've unscrewed this whole top so that hopefully we can take this whole thing out and be able to work on the water maker more easily. If that's the case, I mean, it's not a fun thing that you'd want to do, but it works. This boat was constructed in such a way that you can always access everything by just taking out a few screws. It just depends on how many screws. So that is the bottom of the cabinet behind there. And this piece goes all the way back to the wall, so it doesn't actually pull out. But we might be able to lift it up enough that Nestor can get the water maker out, so let's see what happens. All right. So we are gonna move this
bad boy
outside because
Cape Horn Extreme.
when we
Real deal water maker. This thing is a beast. Love this thing.
But when we open it up to replace the membrane, there's definitely going to be water. So we're gonna
take the caps and clean it with paper towel and fresh water. The fiberglass pipe where the membrane sits, for sure.
So we're gonna move this project out onto the cockpit table. That way when water comes pouring out, it's not all over our settees. So Nestor is gonna work on that out in the cockpit, and we don't have our new microphone set up yet, so I'm probably not gonna record too much because it's really windy outside and you're really not gonna be able to hear too much. Maybe I'll stick a GoPro out there on time lapse so you guys can just see what he does anyway. In the meantime, I'm gonna be cleaning in here. Everything down in this locker just got soaking wet, taking that all apart. Definitely gonna clean all of that out. And you can still see like this really thick dirt here is remnants from like places of the boat we never took apart that got muddy when she was sunk underwater. It's pretty crazy that we're like, after years of cleaning and hosing and scrubbing and bleaching, still finding that dirt. Yeah, you can see this all needs to get wiped down and cleaned. So I'm gonna work on that.
So I think I found one of the problems with the water maker. There's always a bunch of salt water that kind of like stays in it. You know, a lot of the things are like copper and softer metals. So two things, the O-ring, the seal is decomposing, look. And look at the corrosion. So it's a couple years old since we have serviced it, like 5 years since we have taken these parts out. This is where the high pressure hose connects to. This goes into the housing, into the each end of the membrane, and then from the car pump it connects here through like high pressure, like 800 psi with like stainless steel. So we'll see. So I just got the membrane out of the package. Looks like it's the right one. So I'm gonna do a little cleaning on the pipe that the membrane sits and the end caps and slide that puppy in.
Okay, so we showed you these little guys. They're all corroded and pretty messed up looking. We talked to Dave, who is our Spectra water guy here in Fajardo, Puerto Rico. I think technically he's in Ceiba now, but Dave is awesome. I'll maybe link him in the description because he's a really, really great asset here in Puerto Rico. So he has these in stock, and he also has all the stuff to change the high pressure stainless hose that we have on our water maker to a plastic tubing, which is super heavy duty, high pressure tubing, which won't corrode. And so we are pretty keen on using that opposed to the stainless, not to mention mixing metals and all that stuff. So he's putting together an invoice for us, and we're going to ask a friend to go and pick it up and send it over on the ferry or the plane, and we'll finish this project tomorrow. What a freaking day! Epic. Super windy. yesterday the water maker project got paused, so Nestor just went and picked up the new fittings. Beba was nice enough to pick them up from the guy in Saba and send them over on the plane. So I just thought I'd show you. We got 6 foot of this hose, which is like a heavy duty, high pressure plastic hose. And we got 2 of these brass fittings with stainless nuts, and then 2 more stainless nuts for the other end, and these little collars, and it was 150 bucks. Super expensive, but Dave at Yacht Rights is a Spectra dealer and has really helped us out in the past. He's very knowledgeable and great to work with. It's not that he has expensive prices, it's that Spectra has expensive prices. Nestor is gonna work on putting this all back together, I guess. He had to go and get 10 gallons of water this morning because we ran out of water.
It might be too late to go kiting. Maybe I'll just go in the morning again. It's gonna be windy for the next 4 or 5 days, so maybe this is what I'm gonna do this afternoon. Make a coffee, put this puppy back on, so we can make some water.
So it is 11 o'clock at night, and Nestor went kite surfing this afternoon.
You are never too old to learn from your mistakes.
And was like, I'm gonna go kite surfing and then I'll come home, and like while you're making dinner I'll install the water maker. And then we sat with our friend and chatted after the kite surfing. And so what are you doing at 11 o'clock at night, Nestor?
Installing the water maker.
We went to go put it all back together and realized that we were completely out of Teflon tape. Luckily, a friend of ours that's not too far from here had some, so Nestor went and grabbed some Teflon from him, because in the meantime, I cooked dinner and we ran out of water. And Nestor came back from kite surfing and is all salty, and we don't have any fresh water for him to rinse off. So he's like, I'm getting this water maker done tonight so I can take a shower. But I'd say he's got another
2 hours.
Hour or 2 before that happens. He's gotta, we just got it back in the cabinet. We've got to mount it and hook up all the hoses and all of that stuff. And then before he can shower, he has to actually make water. So it's gonna be the sweetest water ever though, Nestor. What do you think?
It's gonna be nice. It's a little late, but we got woo! Sounds good. That Clark pop now, the tonk.